And so what the cleanup and the safety concerns are around that debris. Meantime, in the aftermath of the devastating wildfires, communities face the daunting task of rebuilding. One group remains particularly vulnerable, and that is also something we heard about in the press conference before, and that is senior citizens. Sarah Pila is live in the Pacific Palisades with more on that population. They've not just lost their homes, but they've also lost their way of life. Sarah.
Yeah, good morning, Tara Lynn. Many challenges, obviously, the cleanup of these fires, then the rebuilding. But for the senior population specifically, that the city estimates makes up about a quarter of residents here in the Pacific Palisades, rebuilding means something completely different to these folks who are living in the tail ends of their lives. Take a look.
Clutching a sculpture from a lifetime worth of travels with his wife is one of the only things that remains amongst the rubble at Bob Scheibel's longtime home of 55 years in the Pacific Palisades.
A family of sharing, not things, but of a life.
Bob is 86 and his wife Linda is 83. They're part of a large senior population in the Palisades, one that the city estimates to be about a quarter of its residents. The Palisades fire has now forced this group with the daunting task of figuring out what's next, something unthinkable at this point in their lives.
God only grants us so much time, but in that time you have to use it.
This was the home where Bob and Linda raised their kids, including Mike, who's helping him sift through the rubble. This tragedy has affected him deeply, not only his memories, but turning into caregiver and dealing with the challenges that his parents and their friends are facing.
How to maneuver through this new reality of what your life is going to be, but also a technology-forward world?
With the increasing frequency and intensity of natural disasters, amplified by human-caused climate change, research suggests older adults are more vulnerable and experience more casualties compared to other age groups. The Wallace-Annenberg Gen Space is a destination for enriching the lives of older adults. Its director, Christopher Leach, says the LA wildfires are a prime example of how susceptible this group is.
Unfortunately, the folks that have lost their lives were older adults who may have lived alone, who may not have had a family member nearby, who might struggle with mobility issues.
For folks who lost an entire neighborhood like Bob, not only have they lost their home, but also their social networks. Gen Space is just one physical location for older adults, but as LA recovers, it's critical to do so, including the needs of seniors.
Particularly things around digital literacy and bringing them into community together.
In the wake of the Palisades fire, Mike understands more than ever the importance of community for older adults like his parents and their friends, and says seniors need more help.
Reach out to different churches or temples or community organizations in the Palisades, in Los Angeles, and find out how you can help an elderly person.
As he goes around his property, Bob reflects on the life he built that lay in the charred ruins.
55 years worth of blessings. And they cannot be burnt up. They cannot be destroyed. They can only be cherished.
Bits and pieces of wonderful times to remember in the rough times now and ahead.
Now, the Wallace-Annenberg Gen Space is looking for volunteers. If you're interested in helping a senior citizen, they also say you can look for additional volunteer opportunities at your local community senior center. Tara Lynn.
Yeah, community is such an important aspect of the lives, especially for our elder population. The director of Gen Space mentioned also the importance of technology literacy in older adults as LA recovers. What's the best way for seniors to do that?
So Gen Space is hosting tech classes next month in March. You can sign up starting in February, on February 17th. We should have that for you on your screen. You can email info@annenberggenspace.org, or you can call 424-407-4023 for more information. Definitely a very important type of education for these folks. A lot of patience is needed as well. But hopefully with some of that knowledge with the technology that can help assist these folks and their caregivers. Tara Lynn.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah, for that report and that very important information. We really appreciate you. And we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we're going to take another look at that press conference that just wrapped up, updating residents on the latest in terms of the recovery from the LA fires. Kate Cagle will be joining us. She was there at the press conference, and she's going to be bringing